Hey everyone, it's Duo Crew and Steve getting ready to watch the Oprah Winfrey Presents When They See Us Now. We just wrapped up episode 4. Very powerful, once again, another powerful segment. Um, Incredible discussion afterwards, as always, with the crew. And we're going to watch When They See Us Now. Um, Me personally, Oprah, she's one of the people that I've always looked up to. I've always thought she was wonderful. I've seen her from the beginning of her career to when she retired, and she still continues to amaze me as a human being and a person. So with that being said, we're gonna jump into this. I want to see. I see some of the guys right now. Um, I got a few goosebumps going right now, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm looking forward to seeing this. Hopefully, Oprah Winfrey has never ever held back. She does dig, and I like that about her. So let's jump in. Let's see what Oprah and When They See Us Now, uh, and it's obviously up on Netflix. So let's see what happens.
I was on Twitter and I saw this from actor LeVar Burton. I had to keep breathing. Episode number 1 nearly broke my heart. However, I will keep watching because this is essential viewing for every American.
Yes.
As essential to your understanding of America as was Roots. Brava, Ava. Essential viewing, was that the intention?
Yes, that was the intention. Hello, everyone. We're on a real Oprah Winfrey show, OMG. No, the goal was to create something that stuck to your ribs and that wasn't junk food. It's to create something that was going to be a catalyst for conversation. I love horror, I love romance, I love action. But to be able to create something with my collaborators that is actually going to move people to action, move people to evaluate what they think and how they behave in the world.
For anyone who still doesn't know, the original title for the series was, the working title was at least Central Park 5. You insisted that the name be changed. Why?
Central Park 5 felt like something that had been put upon the real men by the press, by the prosecutors, by the police. It dehumanized them. They are Yusef, Antron, Kevin, Raymond, and Corey.
Yep.
And those are their names, and we need to know them and say their names.
Have you been surprised by Linda Fairstein's response?
No, I wouldn't say I'm surprised by it.
Okay.
I think it's expected.
It's of course been reported that she has stepped down from the board positions, some stepped down from charities. Been reported that she's been dropped by her publisher. What do you have to say about that?
I think it's important that people be held accountable.
Yes.
And that accountability is happening in a way today that did not happen for the real men 30 years ago. But I think that
I
it would
agree.
be not about her. Really not all about her. She is a part of a system that's not broken. It was built to be this way. It was built to oppress, to control, to shape our culture in a specific way that kept some people here and some people here. It lives off of our ignorance, and we can no longer be ignorant. Our real goal is to be able to say, go America, let's do this,
I'm going to stop it just a moment here. I like her. Everything she's saying is absolutely correct, and she has a beautiful first name, Ava. Just saying.
change
that
this,
is very
and you
true.
can't change what you don't know, so we came together to show you what you may not know. Now that you know, what will you do? How
Yep.
will you change?
So as young black men yourselves during filming, some of you were actually the ages of the exonerated 5. How did you prepare to do that?
Yeah, hi Oprah.
Hi.
Aww.
Hi,
I feel like the biggest preparation was just talking to them themselves, you know. You see these guys and you never think that they went through what they went through, you know. Whenever Ava describes Kevin, she describes him as a big teddy bear, because that's what he is. So I wanted to take the good in him and the sweetness and put that into, you know, try to transform that into the innocence, because pain and sorrow isn't all that he is. You know, there's so much more to who he is, to who these 5 men are.
Wow.
Beautifully.
Yeah.
Beautifully.
Wow.
So, what can we say about you? I don't even know what we can say about you. Jarrell is the only actor to play one of the exonerated five as both a young man and also an adult. What you did, you brought us into solitary confinement. And when that damn air conditioner worked, we felt cooled by the breeze. You did that so well. What was the process of you embodying Corey Wise? Hi.
Hi.
No
I'm trying
pressure.
not to cry right now. Thank you so much.
The hardest thing I've ever done or allowed myself to do to get into that emotion and to get into that mentality. Bottom line, I could never be Corey Wise. No one could ever be Corey Wise or fill those shoes. I just did my best to embody him. A lot of layers for Corey Wise. I think if you meet him, you'd see that he is probably one of the most unique person you'll ever see or you'll ever meet. It's finding those quirks and those physicalities that make Corey Wise who he is. I did 2 months with a vocal coach and just learning how to speak like Corey, it was the biggest challenge in itself. Once I found the voice, it kind of just went down the body and into the legs. He bought me a pair of sneakers the first time we hung out. I was like, don't buy me these kicks. He was like, I have to. I'm Corey Wise buys Corey Wise sneakers.
The world knew them as just a derogatory headline, but from this day forward, we call them the exonerated five, not the Central Park five. Everybody spread the word. Michael grew up in New York around the same time these events happened. What did you pull from to bring the role of Bobby McCrae to life?
I remember the fear of not wanting to be lumped, not wanting to be generalized with them. I would see these men, these young boys on the television, and I would hear what they were accused of and what they had confessed to. And I'm a victim of Wilden. These scars on my face, I got jumped. I got jumped by a pack of other young boys. I know what Wilden looks like, and I know what it feels like. I had that trauma, and then I would look and I would see I didn't see that in the screen. I didn't see, it just wasn't making sense, but the narrative was, in my household, something didn't add up, right? But then it must add up because they said it was true. They confessed, that's all we had to go on. I just remember the fear and the trauma of
Interesting.
even changing the way I dressed. I changed the way I dressed because I was afraid that they would think I was one of them.
Wow. Joshua Jackson played Mickey Joseph. What did you learn about the justice system?
Nothing good. When I'm watching that, even having read the scripts, knowing where this story is going, I'm sitting there in the second episode, and I'm like, somebody's going to stop this. Somebody's going to put their hands up, and we can't do this to these children. I don't think it was that far away in 1989 either. The media narrative was one thing, but if you were in that room, if you were part of that defense team, if you were part of that prosecutorial team, you knew what you were doing. It was right there in front of them, and there was 2 trials, so they had 2 bites to get it wrong, and they got it wrong both times. So what did I learn about the justice system is that it's the wrong name for it.
Very well said.
So 30 years ago, their youth and their freedom were unjustly torn away in a case that made headlines around the world. Please welcome Yusef Salaam, Kevin Richardson, Antron McCrae, Raymond Santana Jr., and Corey Wise. So I want to start by asking each of you about the boy you were on April 18th, 1989. What were your hopes, your dreams?
You know, I went from riding skateboards and, probably climbing trees, and those memories kind of stayed with me throughout prison. And it was difficult to digest that.
I remember being excited to be out of school because it was an Easter vacation. Also trying to balance my music, playing trumpet, and also one of my goals was to play for Syracuse University, but I never reached that.
I played a lot of sports. My father had me practicing a lot. Actually, I just got back from Puerto Rico from playing on a traveling team. Shy. I'm shy now. Just was enjoying my life,
What was your hope for yourself? Did you have one yet?
Yes, to be a baseball player.
Be a baseball player.
I loved listening to hip-hop music. I loved shopping at the Gap. Well, my dad, right, it was always his money, and I loved to sketch. That was my thing. For me, I didn't think about what I would be later on in life because I was a 14-year-old boy.
Who were you, Corey?
Just being Corey, that's all.
You were just being Corey, having fun, and you and Yusef would hang out together.
Yeah, that's me.
I want to know what went through your mind when you heard the word guilty.
Life was over. You know, my attorney at the time, and he says, 5 years, you're still young, don't worry about it. For me, it just felt like forever.
I felt numb. I was the first one, the ride to actually stand up and they got the charges off. And I just felt numb, and then right after that, I lost my religion. I started hating everything in the world.
I literally thought my life was over right in front of me because I really didn't process that I was receiving a 5 to 10 years. I thought I might die right in jail because the whole world hated us.
I went from being free, I was on bail. And I remember talking to a friend on the phone, and I said, they got the verdicts. I'll see you in a little while. Guilty was echoed in the courtroom so many times, I lost count. And they told us to put our hands behind our backs. And we hugged each other and cried. It was such a painful cry.
We saw some of what happened to Corey on, you couldn't show all of it.
No, one of the first things, all of the men went through the loss of their innocence in the moment that they are brought into the precinct that day. 4 of them went to juvenile detention and then eventually matured into adult prisons in the state of New York. Corey Wise, the moment that he stepped foot off of that street in Harlem, never came back for another 13 and a half years. He went directly into Rikers at 16 years old, okay? So he had a different experience. When I first sat with him, he said, Ava, you need to know, right now I feel that it's 4 + 1, because at least they were together and I was alone. All of them agreed that we needed to make sure that, and it was a lot of conversations with Raymond. He said, Corey's story is different. Make sure that you tell his story. His story needs to be heard.
And the thing that you just were going down to support your friend. And so were there many times you regretted going down to support your friend?
I do it. Yeah, mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings about it. Do you all blame Linda Fairstein for what happened to you?
Yeah.
She was just doing her job, but it caught up to her. Behind closed doors, she was just doing her job, but it's caught up to her.
Mm-hmm.
As a prosecutor, that moment that DNA evidence comes back and it doesn't match, right? And we're talking handprints, footprints, blood, clothing, and nothing matches. At that moment, this was her chance for her to take a step back and say, let me reevaluate.
Yeah.
Something's wrong here because it doesn't match. She had the power in her hand to really do the right thing, and she fumbled it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she kept pushing forward.
I think she was the culprit of it because people was going by what she said, but there's still many more that still need to be exposed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that,
Yeah. No, I agree.
Speaking our truth,
Yeah.
and they seen the vision of this, that will do it for itself. You don't need to do anything else. The truth will come out.
When you would dream, were you free in your dreams?
I had several dreams like that where I would just wake up, like at the moment I'm free, I'm outside or I'm in my house talking to my dad, and then when I woke up I was in prison. It felt so real at that moment to be in my house moving around talking to my dad and then wake up.
Bet it made you look forward to sleeping then, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you all know that Corey had it as bad as he did before you saw the film?
No. Not only will the world get an opportunity to see us for the first time, but we got an opportunity to see each other. We never spoke about or discussed how our experiences were. And I think it was important for us to be able to really see the trauma, these individual stories, but also the amazing piece of a puzzle, I would say, this magic, that here he wasn't even a suspect. He becomes the absolute thing that freed us. Like, that's my guy right there, you know? He had my back, he was my ace in the hole, and I will forever have his back.
How'd you hold on to your sanity, Antron?
By thread, even to this day. I'm damaged, I need help. I know it, but I just try to keep myself busy. The system broke a lot of things in me that can't be fixed. My wife asked me to go see, a therapist, but I keep refusing.
Why?
I keep myself busy. I work out. I ride my motorcycle. Go see Ray. He lives right 5 minutes away from me, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm struggling.
But wouldn't going to therapy offer you a kind of real freedom and a kind of peace? Don't you yearn for that?
No, ma'am.
You don't.
I lost my mother.
Your mother died not too long.
Yes, ma'am. She's the only one there for me at that time. My father left home.
Wow. That's heavy, man. I'm going to take a break for a minute because that...
Did you ever have reconciliation with your father? Did you ever forgive him for convincing you to lie?
No, ma'am. Like I said before, he's a coward. I couldn't imagine doing that to my son. He allowed her to mush me, pull me in my chest. No, ma'am.
No.
I hear him.
This is real,
My
man.
life is ruined.
It feels like this movie has brought a sense of not just recognition, but it feels like something is happening in the whole country that we at least are willing to look at the injustices. And you were a part of that. Does none of this feel like some kind of redemption?
Not for me, man. I appreciate it, though. Y'all probably know more about my case than I do. I just know I didn't do it.
So what do you want to say about this cycle of injustice and racism?
Here we are, 30 years later. Not too many things has changed. I'm so happy and ecstatic that we can start the conversation now and to make sure there will never be another Century Park 5. I understand what Intron means. It is bittersweet because watching this is painful, but it's necessary.
Yep.
This needs to be watched.
Yes.
We need to make sure things change now.
And as black men in the United States, what do you tell your sons about what to do if stopped by a police officer?
Don't say anything. Wait till I get there. Don't wait till we ask for a look. Wait till we get there.
Yep.
Yep. I was watching you last night, Corey, watch the 4th episode, and with Gerard, and I can't imagine being you watching that happening. How is that for you to see that reenacted?
That's how it was.
That's how it was.
Looking at my life when I was going through poetry and motion. For him to introduce my pain in me. I said, wow. So wow. Life after death. Thank you, Biggie. Life after death. It made me a reality of it.
Does it feel like now for you this is life after death?
Yes.
So what gives you hope today?
The fight. You know, it took them 2.5 years to charge us, try us, convict us, and send us to prison, and then forget about us. What they didn't realize was that we still here, right? We're grown now.
Yeah.
They will have to deal with us for the rest of their lives.
Amen.
Yeah. Anything give you hope, Antron?
My kids, my wife.
Kids.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm hopeful now the world is getting an opportunity not only to see what it was that we went through, but also see that we survived. They took diamonds and threw it in the dirt. And when they picked us up, we were still diamonds, still unbreakable, still strong. And I think that for young people, for the future generations that are going to absolutely change this system, that's what gives me hope.
Yep. Me too.
My hope for you is that you don't have to keep telling the story. It's been told, and you can live your life
Yeah.
knowing that you won. You won, and we believe you, and we see you. We believe you, and we see you.
We see you.
That was good. That was definitely worth watching. Another powerful moment for me. Still got that ball in my throat a little bit. Incredible men. And powerful words. And now their story's told.
Yeah, that last bit when she said, "We see you now," like that made me cry.
Yeah. Very powerful. I'm glad we got to hear the five talk. I'll never use the old phrase again. But how brave of these men to move forward with the scars that are inside of them forever. And to be...
I like how Oprah made it a strong point to give them the new name of the Exonerated Five.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, old identity doesn't apply anymore.
You know, Oprah did something a little bit different. Typically, she asked the questions, but she let them talk. And, you know, to hear the words coming out of their mouth was powerful for me. It's got me a little choked up because I'm glad I have that inside to be able to see things and feel emotion and whatnot. But these are incredible guys. Yeah, I'm glad we got to watch this together. Really am. Ava did a wonderful job. I guess I want to say this. She did, you know, you could see the respect from the gentleman on stage that they had for Ava, and Ava did take them into account. She didn't have any idea where this was going to go or trend or anything, but she knocked it out of the park with the whole concept. Amazing job. I want to know more about the gentleman. I mean, I'd rather buy their books than anyone else. I mean, I have no desire to want to know the prosecutor's story. I really don't care. Anyway, that's all I really have right now. I like this. I like that we ended it with this, with the Oprah interview. So, with that being said, hope you enjoyed the reaction to the Oprah Winfrey Presents When They See Us Now to the Exonerated Five. And hope you subscribe and you like this video. Hope amazing happens to you. Until next time, and the Duo crew reacts. Peace out.